Hey there, this is Miss Caitlin from Fibo Kids Art Academy, and I'm here to talk to you about our Around the World series, where we visit the 7 continents of the world. Right now, we are visiting the continent of Africa, and I just wanted to give you a little sample of how our projects might usually go. So, in our classes, we will talk about a country, learn its map, flag, and visit a landmark or animal that is a part of this country. Now today, again, this is just to give you a little example, a little sample of what we might usually do. I've prepared this really adorable lion cub that I'm going to show you how to draw and talk you through some of the coloring steps. If you want a project that has a lot more detailed steps and instructions where I go through everything with you, I encourage you to check out the Around the World series at FiboKidsArtAcademy.com and sign up that way. But without further ado, let's go ahead and learn how to draw this really cute lion. I'm going to go ahead and switch to my desk so you can see what you're going to need. Now, for this lion, it's done on watercolor paper, so you're going to want something like either literally watercolor paper or Bristol paper, something that can handle watercolor. Watercolors you're going to need, of course. You're also going to need a pencil, eraser, and a Sharpie or a permanent marker of some kind in order to just outline the lion. Very simple. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take out my piece of paper and just move some things off to the side, and we can get to drawing. Now, for our picture today, if you need to pause the video at any point so that way you can just feel comfortable going at your own pace, feel free, no pressure. All right, so here's my piece of paper. I want to make sure that it is going to be vertical, tall, so that way we can fit this entire lion cub. I'm also going to try and keep this lion cub on the side here so that you can kind of see the direction that we're going in as we work. As well, I want you to use a pencil and eraser when you're drawing, but I'm going to use a marker just so that you can see, okay? All right, let's go ahead and start with the head of this lion cub. So a lion cub is a baby lion, of course, and they do not have manes. So if they were a male lion cub, they're not going to have the big fluffy hair that an adult lion would have. Instead, they all kind of look like this. So for this head shape, it is almost like a pentagon, but upside down. Let me show you. So head on over to right about here on your paper, and you can draw sort of like a curved line, and this will be for the basic shape of the head. You'll then draw 2 curved lines down. You can draw them just straight diagonal if that's going to be easier for you. And then you're going to draw 2 curved lines that kind of come in and meet each other in the middle. So it's almost like a pentagon, kind of, sort of, it's loosely. All right, so next we're gonna go ahead and draw that nose and the cheeks of the lion cub. Now for this, you're gonna wanna go maybe right about here and draw a big upside down triangle. My lion cub today is almost like he's got his head kind of tilted off to the side, so that's what I'm gonna be drawing in my picture. Draw a little line down underneath that tip of the nose, and you're going to draw 2 curved lines up. Now in my picture here, you see that those curved lines stop right here. However, you could also draw, and I will show you here, those curved lines so they kind of go up and around and curl around to where the lion's eyes will go. Then you can just simply draw a circle and a circle. This can help you with placement of the eyes if you're feeling a little bit unsure. Now you could keep this kind of curve here for the chin if you want, or you could also draw a bigger curved line here to help that chin look much bigger. You can see here that's what I've done in my picture, but you could leave it like this if that's a little easier for you, or if you want it to be more realistic, draw it a little bit bigger and erase the original one. Now for the lion's eyes, you can draw in a little shine, and you're going to want to draw in a pupil, so a little circle for the pupil. If you really want to get into the detail of lion's eyes and the different sort of patterns of color you'll see around, you might sometimes see like a little black outline, a cat eye if you will, and other such details. You can look at an actual picture of a lion if you want to add those details in. I'll just show you the basics. Next, let's go ahead and draw in the ears. So for the ears, you're going to draw in a big curved line and a big curved line. You can add in further detail, like the insides of the ears. And if you want it to look particularly furry, you can add in texture for fur. Now let's talk about the body. Now for the body of this lion, it's almost like a big oval shape because it's sitting down. So I'm going to start from one side of the head here on the bottom, and I'm going to draw a big oval-like shape. And this will help us kind of place everything. So let's go ahead now and draw in the arms. Now for the first arm, this is going to be the one that's closest to us. Start right about here and draw 2 diagonal lines. 2 more diagonal lines. It almost looks like we're making this very wide V. Draw a horizontal line and then curve. This will be for the paw. Lion cubs and lions in general, they have pretty big paws, so we want to include that here. You can draw in a curved line for a toe, and you are going to have to erase this line that's going through our arm. I can't erase because I've done this in marker, but I will show you which line you want to get rid of. So there you go. Let's draw the other arm. This is the one that's going to be farthest away from us. You're just going to draw a diagonal line, horizontal, curve, and you might see a toe from the lion. All right, we've got one more thing to draw for the legs, and that's this one, the back leg. It's all kind of curled up because the lion is sitting in this very cute way. We can see a little bit of that thigh kind of curled up there, so you can draw a little curved line right here. We can use the part of the oval that we made for this part of the curve, and from here, simply let's just draw a curved line down and a horizontal line that curves back up to the body, and that can be our leg. You'll probably see the toes again kind of separated out, and if you want your drawing to look more like mine, you can erase this part if you want. All right, last part of the lion. We're going to go ahead and give the lion a tail. They have these really cute long tails. You're simply going to draw a curved line up and around that comes back down to the lion's body, and making sure to erase this line right here because it's all connected. Now, as I mentioned, if you want to add in further details, erase certain parts, you could add in the details of the sort of whiskery area here. I'm going to leave that up to you, but what you can do now is decide maybe a background for your lion, and then you're going to outline everything with a Sharpie. So I'm again going to show you what I've created that's a little bit closer to what my picture looks like here. And you can pause the video at this so that you can see what lines you want to keep and maybe what lines you might want to emphasize. So here I've emphasized the sort of cat eye look of the lion. I've also filled in the nose and kind of added in a little bit of this black area on the mouth. If you look at a lion's mouth, you'll notice that it's not necessarily the gum, it's kind of like this part, like almost where their lips would be. Again, not quite sure what that part is called, but that I notice on the lion, and so I want to include that on that portrait. So pause the video here, do your outlines, and then resume once you're ready to talk about some coloring. All right, if you've resumed the video, we're going to talk a little bit about the coloring. Now for this, you can really have a lot of fun with how you want to color this in today. You could make it sort of like a rainbow, you could make it more realistic. My lion here looks a little more realistic, and it looks pretty close to what Simba would be colored like from the movie Lion King. For my watercolor, especially when I go to fill in such a small area like the eye, I do want to make sure that I'm using a small brush. I've used 2 colors on the eye. I've used yellow for the majority of the eye and brown for the top where it would be shaded. So using the point, the tip, the finest part of a very thin brush, I can fill in the bottom of the eye with one color, and then I can fill in the top half with a darker color, and this kind of just brings a little more dimension to the eye and to the picture. Because in real life, when we look at our own eyes, even though we know they're all one color, or maybe you have multiple colors inside your eye, you're often going to find that there's shadows, there's highlights, there's reflections. We want to include those when we create our own drawings. Now again, you can add much more detail than what I've shown you here. You can see I've added in like the white part underneath the lion's eye. That's something I really enjoy about different lions, is that kind of look. But you could use your small brush, kind of adding in the texture of the lion's fur. If you look at actual pictures of lions, you'll see that not all of their fur is the same color. In some parts it's darker, some parts it's lighter. There are parts of their face that are more sunken in, there are parts that more protrude out. They even have these, I don't think they're technically called eyebrows, but they have these really interesting designs of their fur atop their eyes. To me, I think they're eyebrows. And they might as well be. I'm now taking maybe a color that's similar to what I've used on the face, a yellow-orange, and I know that a lot of lions have a bit of a color difference around their nose, on their forehead, and I'm going to use it also as a shadowy color, sort of to help the cheeks look a little bit more realistic. You can see I'm being very loose with this watercolor, almost like a watercolor sketch. So again, it's okay if you want to maybe just relax, add in the color. You could even do a watercolor wash to do a solid color first over everything. Using the brush straight up and down right on the tip can also give you really fine lines for fur and can help bring the lion to life. I'll fill in most of the face with you, but that's where I'll stop. And then you can try and fill in the body. For the ears, it's usually going to be kind of a dark color. I would use maybe like black or maybe a brown mixture. You could even use both. I might use both actually. And kind of same deal, you can use those short lines to kind of create that illusion of fur. Everything is all very furry. Now in my original picture here, I did add a bit of brown to that center part. You can even get more advanced watercolor layers by letting everything dry first, and then coming back and adding more on top. Okay, I think I need just a bit of yellow in these areas over here. And there's a very simple way to sort of fill in the different parts of the lion and making it look even more realistic in just a few simple steps. Now you can go ahead and fill in the body. Usually their tummies are going to be a little bit lighter in color. You can also decide what kind of background you'd like. I went the very simple route today and just did a very wet into wet loose background with a bit of grass that is hanging off on the side. Lions will typically live in like the savannas. They might live in an area, well, they'll really go anywhere that there's food for them to hunt, but you might find them hiding in very tall grass as well. All right, so I hope you have a lot of fun making this project. Have fun coloring this cute little guy in, and I'd love to see what you created. Again, if you want to have more around the world projects where we go into our content a little bit deeper with more instruction, I encourage you to check us out at FiboKidsArtAcademy.com and register for that around the world class. I hope to see you all again very soon. Bye for now.